Hello everyone, whiskey friends. We're outside Nickolls Perks. It's about 10:15 this morning. I can see we're already getting an early queue form for the stag drop. So if you didn't know what's happening today, Nickolls Perks have got their store pick of a barrel of stag. So we're going to go in there, grab one of those. See a little bit of early excitement in the queue. Let's go in. See the Sazerac guys inside?
Well done, you've all got one, if you've taken the time to queue up. Also, Miles is here from Sazerac, so if you do want to hang around after you purchase, we've got 5 different BT expressions on taste as well, so you can taste the Stag, Eagle Rare, all the other bits too.
Love my face, mate.
Yeah.
Grab the Weller 12. Let's have a look and see what else they got sitting. We've got a kosher as well. Two Mickers, Old Scout. Is this their store pick one? That's a standard at 40%.
Hi there, it's Stephen from Nickolls Perks, a spirit specialist here. Here to talk about our 2 latest American whiskey picks, a Willet Rye and a Stag Bourbon. So they're both obviously stellar examples of each of their categories, excellent rye, excellent bourbon. For us, we have key partners that we work with, and having done business so long with, say, Marisha, the distributor for Willet, and Sazerac for Stag. That continued partnership allows us access to things that you don't necessarily see out there in the market that are quite hard to get to. So both of these projects are a long time in the making. You have to spend a small fortune and show a bit of loyalty. And yeah, this is the sort of nice side of that relationship.
So what was the timeline then from, like, let's say tasting the first, like, how's it work? What's your tasting something? When do you go there? Do they come here? How's that work?
Yeah, sure. With these particular examples, we didn't go all the way to the distillery, though that is quite a common approach in selecting store exclusives. So with the Willet, obviously, we've done some amazing things with Marisha in the past, such as a Foursquare release and such as well. So not everyone is granted access to something like this, and we seize it with both hands when given the opportunity because it's amazing whiskey. So with the Willet, there's very, very small allocation. We're sent samples, we taste a few bits, and yeah, ultimately see if it's something that we want to put our name on.
And what's the, like, they said to you, how many samples do they send and who, like, does, like, the tastings, or how's that work?
Yeah, it can vary. So often with these things, I'm not sure how many it was with this one, but you'll get, say, access to a few barrels, and we do this all blind. Usually the case, I take these samples away with me first, pour them out blind, swap them around. My partner does it for me, so I can't see which one's in which glass, and just try and take some really just unbiased notes, some really objective thoughts on each one. I mean, they're always great options, there's no wrong answers, but some just strike a chord and you know that it's something that you want to put your name on. And then I take my thoughts, I bring back the leftover bits to the office, and we usually sit down, the whole spirits team then, and I've already collated my thoughts. We sit down again, totally blind, we all write our thoughts down, and then I sort of chair the meeting and I'll say, okay, before revealing, which one's which, you've all got to say what your favourite option was, what your thoughts on it are, the pros, the cons, and then we'll try and come to some consensus on what we want to bottle.
So you're picking based on kind of like what you guys think is the best personally, not like for a flavour profile for the store, or for like what you think is your general profile for your customers?
Yes, actually, yes. So it's a bit of both, yeah, because, when you're judging spirits, it's not only is it objectively nice, but does it sort of fit the category or what you're going for? So for example, with the Stag, there's fewer samples really it comes to Willet, but with the Stag, we had a few barrel options, and I remember sort of in my process that, for instance, there was an option that was absolutely superb, but some days it wasn't quite striking a chord. Whereas the option that we ultimately ended up with, it just seemed to really resonate as a stag. There's just something about a stag that it's just got this tremendous flavor profile. It's a big, unapologetic bourbon, and every time I came back to it, I was like, this is just tremendous. And ultimately, when we did the blind tasting, that was a unanimous thought as well, even before we knew, the reveal on the barrels.
And what's the reveal on the barrel? So like, what does that tell you, or why blind?
Yeah, I just think you want to remove as much bias as possible, and ultimately it matters less, I suppose, when it's just numbers. What's barrel 34 to 49 to whatever. But it is just about removing as much bias as possible, because if someone, for instance, pipes up and says, "I really liked barrel 34," which is eventually what we bottled, someone else might be inclined to go, "You know what? Yeah, that's my favorite." So I like to just remove that element and let people organically come to the conclusion that, yeah, that was absolutely my favorite. And then it's even more rewarding, I think, when you all do the reveal and it's like, oh, we all liked the same one.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something in that.
So does everybody get like ABC all the same, or is it ABC and then someone gets BCA or CBA?
Yeah, it's either or. Yeah, it will be like an ABC on a sheet, but yeah, we do both options. It's usually, obviously, one of us is going to know which one's which, so we just have to sort of draw straws of who's going to, have the secret formula. But yeah, it'll be a bit of both. It's swapping them around, but ultimately there'll be someone who knows exactly who's got what. So then when we do the reveal at the end, we know.
Cool. And then today you had quite a few people at the front. What was your timeline from like first tasting the samples to, I guess, like in store now releasing it?
Yeah, so it can be quite a long time. It can be even a year or so when it comes to transcontinental picks, because you just got to wait a long time for it to get here. It's coming over on a freight ship or something like that. So yeah, I think we must have picked this sort of early in 2024, and it ultimately landed just at the close of the year. So it's always quite a struggle to keep all these things a secret when you're very excited about you're putting out something really exciting, but you just got to be patient because it takes a long time to get stuff over from the States.
So can I steal any secrets then? Like, what was the next samples that you've maybe tried but you don't, it's not even on the boat yet? Is there any?
There are a few things in the pipeline, but I won't give anything away because we're not sure. Again, we don't want to get people overexcited and they're waiting a year or so for it to land. But trust me, there's plenty more exciting.
Have you tried any unnamed samples that are like, okay, we're thinking that we'll go for it? Like, when was your last sample test? So if it's a year until, when was the last time you did some blind samples for a pig that you don't know where it is yet?
It's not. It wasn't.
Don't have to name it.
Yeah, no, sure. It wasn't a bourbon. It was a Scotch, and it was yesterday actually at 4:30 for a very, very special bottle that we're putting out in 2025. So that will come to fruition quite soon, actually. So yeah, we do go at these things quite regularly, and we will turn things down if we feel that it's just not the right fit for us. It's quite hard to sort of quantify or qualify what that is, but you just have a gut feeling that is your signature when you're bottling something. So yes, yesterday was the last time, and that will be released quite soon.
Hey, wow, nice. Cool, thank you very much. So,
absolute pleasure.
There we are, the Stagg and Willet picks for Nickolls Perks.
Thanks, folks.
That's alright, I'll tidy up for a minute. We've got the Stagg barrel here. We've stuck the nose in there, I can't really see anything, but smells delicious. So, alright, back home. When it rains, it pours, and I was very fortunate enough on the 9th of January, just before I picked up this the Nickolls Perks one, now that I'm back home, to have the 23C that I scored. So I'm going to open up this. I haven't had the chance to open it up yet. And if we then get into the bag from Nickolls Perks, we have joining us in the tasting today this Nickolls Perks Willet Rye. So I will be giving that a little bit of a taste later. And the Nickolls Perks Stag pick. So look at that. When it rains, it pours. All the stags. Super exciting. So just going to give these two a crack, get them open. Maybe, if I can. And a bit of a comparison here. Oh, doesn't that sound delightful? So this is the 23C. And then here we have the Nickolls Perks pick. Now, I do always find that these little tablets can be hard to get open and deadly on the thumb sometimes. So just going to go into the job glass. Got a nice pour on that one. Oh, smells delicious. So 2 stags. I'm just going to let this air in a little bit. Get some air get to them. And here we have the Willet Rye. So I don't know how long the usual stag goes for. We know that this one, because of the barrel, was 9.5 years and 7 years on the Willet Rye. So I don't know which to start with first. I think I'm going to start with the 23C and have a little bit of nose here. And then as this is a bit of a nose comparison, you have to excuse any background noise. The dog is, she wanted to be included in this. Oh, wow. There's a immediate difference there between the nose on both of these. This is a little bit more delicate and floral, whereas, and you don't get quite an alcoholic punch from this, from the Nickolls Perks one, whereas the normal 23C, from nose, I would say this is actually a higher proof. Now, it actually comes in at 62.95, and this comes in at 65.3. But this initial 23C smells way stronger. And a little bit more of a cherry note. It's got a nice little bite to it. Oh, that is good. You feel the proof. This is first drink on the day of that is a bit of a bite. Oh, that's such a good dram. Now, I don't know if I should have done this one first or second, but I'm really curious now to get in for a try of this. But it smells like an entirely different whiskey. So much more floral. Doesn't have any of the aggression that this had, the 23C. And I know the 23C comes as like it's a standout for a lot of people, and I even for myself think it's quite great. It's actually easier drinking. Even tasting it, you would not think that this was of the same proof. Oh wow. Getting a little bit of the vanilla butterscotch in there as well. So, if I had to put them as a blind on blind, initial first responses are I would go with the Nickolls and Perks. Stag pick, that is a fantastic pick. But both really, really good whiskies. I would actually, the smoothness on this is what really gets me. Because it's so light compared to, when you know that it's like 65 proof. It's so light. And being nearly 10 years old, I would have expected a lot more oak or age, that, you know, that dusty oak that comes in behind it. None of that's there. Okay, I don't know when this video is going to come out because I'm going to try and do a fast edit on it. If you can still get yourself down to Nickolls and Perks, get one of them. I do know that everyone's been running and chasing and fighting for it, but that is really good. This is going to be a bit of a weird follow to come behind all of that with a rye. But we'll see. Look at the colour difference. This is so much lighter. These are so dark. To follow 2 stags with a rye. Well, look at the legs on that. That is... This is a... Coming off this is way more... I'm almost getting a... Now, I don't know the name of what the little things are called. It's like a little seed that you get in Indian cooking and food. Not aniseed. Like a cumin-y type. I think it's cumin type note. A little bit bitter. A little bit like those bitter spices. With grassy notes. That's quite interesting. This is a whole different beast when it comes to tastes. And what are my thoughts on this? I'm not a big fan of aniseed and cumin, and I would personally say I'm not 100% sold on this on first taste. I'm going to have to come back to this on another try after, when I'm trying it, not after this, because that was probably a really unfair time to try it in a blind. There's definitely something to it. I don't know if the flavor profile's for me though, but I know a lot of people have also raved about this. So I'm going to see. I'm undecided. In fact, what I'm going to do behind the camera, you won't see it, but behind this camera is my wife sitting here. She also loves a rye. So I'm just going to quickly get her opinion on it, and then see what she thinks. But very interesting. This is the first one of these I've ever had, so I wasn't sure what to expect, what to taste. And I'll buy any bottle of bourbon once. So still happy to have this in the collection. It's really, really interesting. It doesn't taste like any rye that I've actually had before. What would you say that tastes like? It's got like a grassy, bitter spices, yeah, herby, that's the word I was looking for. Like a very herbal kind of base to it. Really earthy, herbal. It's a great way to describe it. I'm going to be interested to try that again when we come back. But there you go. I'm going to finish these off camera. And there you go. Cheers.